Okay, my family them on a good evening, on a good day, on a good afternoon, any side on a day. After some break, we don't come back, me and my brother, Air Taps Tababa. Today, can discuss something will be stop bantra day. The last discussion we me and been get, we've been discuss something about the coming elections. Today on topic is since 2018, we don't get a lot of wrong signals they come out from Sierra Leone. So we don't begin to afraid about the integrity of the elections we get for come. Now that I say, let me and my brother can discuss today. So Baba, you go tell the family Adusa.
Family on a good evening, on a Peking tab. A day I met my brother for help we follow educate we self and we people them. What in the go wrong in our beloved country. We all love Sierra Leone based on that make we left for busy schedule them. For today I follow discuss the issue with the go in our country. Back to you, Mr. Jallo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Before they go, before I inform family and say today na my birthday. Today make me 67 years where I see this world. And some of we don't dey vex now. If 67 years we never see head and tail for we country, we get for left they can sit down another man country and able begin see headway. And we know say countries them day. When 1961, we country been better pass. Countries like South Korea, we not get a single mineral. Vietnam, up to 1975, they were at war. Then get one of the longest wars where they don't ever fight or not. That country now be a broken country. They like today, then country they pass we. Malaysia, 1960s, they now been village. Now Salon and come, then can't get Masanke Banga species where they go plant. They like today. Now they're now number one for palm oil and palm products all over the world. Asia in general. Sierra Leone was better off than the whole of Asia in the 60s. Look at us today. And the reason we could not able to make headway now because of the kind of politics who they practice. And what thing they make that politics stand out with so? Now because of the way who they think. Man is mind and his environment manifests what he thinks and how he thinks. Now one British philosopher, James Allen, I mean say that. He say, as a man thinketh, so he becomes. And I don't prove him. If only we can change the way we think and do things, we country go better. Sierra Leone get a potential for be the richest country on earth. That I get for organize a program and can prove unto people them. I go give data. I go give pictures. Let people then see say, without minerals, if we are united, we able become the richest country on earth between 15 and 20 years. This country were they before 1991, they had a good economy, but they were not the richest country with the biggest sovereign fund. Now 1990, now they launched the sovereign fund. They like today, they have the largest sovereign fund on earth. Norway is considered to be richer in terms of a sovereign fund than China. We can second to them, and other countries that we get sovereign fund. And Norway and Salon get almost the same population. How will they think? Now so will they conduct elections. Now that make this topic we say lot of wrong signals. Wrong signals. Things that don't happen now with society from 2018 to now. We don't hear a big man and go publicly, they talk certain things. We don't hear a big woman and go publicly, they talk certain things. We don't see that they reflect in the rise of violence in the society. Violence to the level who side and they even molest members of parliament. We're not being the be before in our country. Then they molest officials. We're not being the be before in our country. For some of us, we are asking, where are we headed for? What is the level of social sanity our country get? What is the ethical and moral responsibility of those in leadership? And whose assurance we get, say, 2023 elections with the level of violence and hardship within our country, it not go deteriorate into something else. This now I want to can talk about today. And I want to take with time, let we examine the things them who believe say now the reason or the indicators say 2023 is not going to be an election. It's going to be a mini war. And we want to avoid that. If it's possible, some of you go talk to the international community, let them come in. Let us find a solution as to how to conduct a peaceful election. If I reach them, my brother, I want you come in small with this introduction what I don't make. Now look at what some of the things that were up in our country since 2018.
Well, I tell you, thank you. One of the one of the problem we're gonna see alone. So we say na dishonesty. Now based on that, the politicians they don't take advantage over the people then. Because when you put cook on top of cook, the answer is cook. Nothing else they come up. When I know say the particular thing we I get, I not deserve for getting. I always would be a cook, and even the intelligent or genuine person they around me, they feel a cook like me because I not go through the genuine way for I get them. We see since 2018, we country down there in a very bad shape, and that kind of bad shape we're into now lead to the 11-year senseless war. We lost a lot of Sierra Leoneans and a lot of properties. Then we lost. Let's say when the President Julius Maada win the 2018 election, which me personally support and finance because we will all be yearning for change. But we see how the election will go. If Sierra Leone, if the opposition today not be show some maturity or responsibility, that country for don't into serious chaos. By you removing 10 members of parliament from the opposition, then backing by the Supreme Court, so that don't tell you say there was a recipe for chaos already in the country. And then kind of thing and the way happen, we know one for CNT and they ongoing our country. It repeats itself like our country because we know one for going to that same brutal war. We see Naomi you see down. We see the Minister Cabinet Kalo, Minister of Transport, Trade and Industry, Transport rather, Minister of Transport and Aviation. Ego constituency 110. It broke ballot box there. It said because they didn't call result they wanted to go in. Say today, the government said that they come up with an investigation. The videos evidence are there. The graphic then they we say you see the minister they broke ballot box. Say today that case, nothing has come out of it. We see them kill a young promising boy in Akailao for a by-election. We don't get anything for those election. For more than say then they investigate today, nothing comes out of that. We see the massacres and the killings that the president, the government they do. The president they come and go tell we say I don't set commission of inquiry for let them count the paper. Nothing is coming out of that. The Pademba Road massacre. Say today people then sit down with them, they grieve with them, taking them. What's going to happen? Makeni massacre. Some call him by the Tombo, you name them. When you see the president they make way on by-elections, they instead they say, I want this them for rig the election, for change the result in their favor. It happen at Kabbalah, it happen at Kono. So I'm scared. If they replay people them putting them deserve, there is a possibility for that chaos in the country. If the president, I don't believe the presidency leadership now war. I don't believe in that. If the people don't give a responsibility for making you carry out leadership and govern their resources for a 5 year period of time, if you do anything successful for the people of that country, now then they ask for you re-election. Not really force you for re-election. Now let me see. But I see say this government here, all thing they care about now re-election, not for work for the people. Then I am kind of force them, we brutally force them way for CC, then jeopardize the future of the Sierra Leoneans. They don't care. Elect self whether them feel safe now 5% left or 10% for once then they rule that them care about. So that's like a concern. So we the citizens then, so we the Sierra Leoneans then, we believe say that country for the insanity, the country for the in peace. If the country dey in this kind of chaos, now that means for the past 4 years, we no able get investors there in the country. We no able get a tangible, responsible somebody where they can say, nobody no want for investing money in chaos or in jeopardy. So if you ask me, this now some of who we scared, some of who we afraid, and the moreover the kind of way the electoral commissioner was selected, the party, political parties were not involved. It was just unpicked by the government, forced their way to parliament. So it's sad, a very sad for democracy.
Okay, thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. You don't come up with certain points them what I think I go elaborate on. Because I don't believe say we don't reach the point in time we'll get for begin say things as they are. We'll get for begin call things by their names. Generally, politics is about electing people to represent certain interest. It's not about people trying to get power to go and enrich themselves. As a matter of fact, when you go into politics, you automatically don't expose to wealth. I mean, you fact that you don't be somebody of relevance in the global community. You they meet all kinds of people. You they go all kind conference, you meet different people from different spheres of life and industry. That network way they build. If you have an integrity, if you keep to your ethics, you they make lifelong connections where they always put you in an advantage for make wealth even after you don't left politics. So a politician not get no business for go to office for go enrich himself. Now only in Africa would they do them. Would they do them in Africa because the education we'll get not teach we for be of service to we communities. We education will get only teach we say we for can team up and tap people and bully them. That mentality of bullying people using impunity now in our problem, and especially so in the Republic of Sierra Leone. Now I make the last term will become I tell you say the problem in Sierra Leone is with the intellectual class. And I'm saying it again today. I am part of that class. I was part of that mentality, but I thank God I come into a society where I begin to understand things differently. As say, we were not the intellectuals. Now we get for take the onus for do things and maintain standards, the ethics, the morals, and everything where they make society go before. Now we get for be the pace setters. If we were for be the pace setters, now we they do the wrong things. What do we expect the ordinary man for do? If you were in a public office, they go get fake degree. What do you expect the ordinary man for do? If you were in a public office, they promote violence. What do you expect the man a public now the ordinary man for do? We don't reach the term We'll get for begin say as it is. And I want to make one point clear. At the age where I not serve people, I serve my conscience. That's why I say it as it is. If you don't like it, I am sorry. I not get for go stand on any platform for campaign for election and fend popularity. As you rightly say, my brother, some of them things the way I liked. Now concern we'll get for take seriously for the coming elections. There are other things we'll get for look at. You begin with one, the composition of the administration of the electoral bodies and authorities in Sierra Leone. The Electoral Commission, as they call her now, the registration of political parties, and that small group where not a legal group actually, not get legal status, not get no legal mandate, what they call APA. Recently, we see them go make a retreat in Abo. They exclude the major political parties then at the country, and the ones that will get Boku of the seats in a parliament. The question is, does that not tell us that the elections are not going to be fair? Does that not undermine the integrity of everybody involved in the electoral processes in Sierra Leone? I want to give that question there to you, sir.
And in the first place, one of the things where people then they get wrong, a politicians then across the country, it be APC, it be NGC, it be C4C, it be any political party, una not to enemy them, una na opponents them. For the fact you don't begin see the other person as your enemy, then you don't begin victory over the seats who say you sit down. Not to the enemy, it's just like a soccer team. I can they play na one team, you play na another team. Not means if we meet and feel na for broken foot or for broken head. It doesn't work that way. But in Sierra Leone, with the CCA, the ruling government of the day today, they don't see all opposition parties then as an enemy. That's if they not be seen as an enemy, there is a crystal clear armed robber than they pass the streets. Corrupt officers than they inside this government where they pass. Murderer than they with people that don't we don't have openly then say let them kill people
But
like
then they sell
deputy minister.
passports in a foreign ministry.
Lael Lawrence Lima no open say let them keep people that they massacre people in Napa them or they want they pass free. For just and alleged allegations where the court know for prove Mohammed Kamimba they can perish in a prison. So the president just say because Kamimba now one of the people they want the opposition will be the talk. So the best way for silence are if it's enough. So they just say Kamimba na an enemy instead of an opponent. So because of that trench and that way when they go into the politics now based on that make they don't make the country don't very fragile because they see say anybody will talk against them you are not patriotic. Now and else now they will see the first lady they represent the presidency. They say anybody who not to SLPP not to Sierra true Sierra Leone. She made that
Now I
statement.
not to Sierra Leonean, me not able to change my nationality.
So she made that statement. So the first lady one for
She
telling
cannot change my nationality. Are they above them? Let you know that.
so the first lady one for we say for being a Sierra Leonean now by party, if you not belong to any political party, so if you not to Sierra Leone, so he has to be belongs to a political party, which sense that makes to necessary for make them kind of statement in there. So
Well,
these are the kind of country we don't find yourself. You they see a minister when they represent a public office, go sit down, they insult people there. They curse people there. It happens not to one, not to two. The president himself make a statement that I was shocked. When the president was interviewed at the national TV and BBC by Omar Fofana, it can clear say the division of the country, in not to divide the country, the colonial master then divide the country. So the country already divide. Nobody know for answer. Which kind of
that's very idiotic. I will say
which kind
it.
of
It's
which kind of
very idiotic.
which kind of if you are a father of the nation, You are the president. Nobody know they tell you say we don't know say we get Kono land, we get Timmy land, we get Mandela, but that cannot come from the president by saying that oh not to me divide the country already divide. So it's like the problems of the country you're not capable for solving.
Well,
So
why
before
did he get elected?
well this is the question here. People I know they blame the Sierra Leoneans they will make mistake, including myself here. They always say why they blame people there now for what fail for do the changes on 2023. Now I will not say now we are the problem, but which are not say Sierra Leoneans are not ready for that. They are ready for the change. 2023 is going to be a referendum vote on SLPP government because all the manifesto when you read, I have the manifesto here of SLPP. It will be surprised if one of this manifesto they not even get 5% of it. One of the manifesto. The president promised Sierra Leoneans and say it's a flashy program and education. But this is the same government we see a anti-corruption commissioner they define it support fraud. It's a fraud legal.
Yeah.
And
He
may you
said
know
the
say
people they not use the degree for go fair work. What
may
is
you
your
know
job? Your job is to rid society of fraud.
the academic fraud. May you know say the biggest fraud we they commit in the whole world because it destabilize it destroy country. The fabric of the country they destroy. If you get government officer, somebody who is the administrative wing of parliament, and they carry fake degree, you get somebody where they head the whole police and they carry fake degree. You name them. Several government officers, information ministers, they carry fake degree. Deputy Internal Affairs Minister, they carry fake degree. A lot of government officers in that system, they carry fake degree. Then you say it's not corruption, it's not fraud. So, like, if that people then they keep all them kind of offices then they with fraud, I'm scared if the election say they not go fraud in 2020.
Somebody where they go seek fraudulent means, forget an academic qualification. They don't verify to the ordinary mind say everything where they do in that office one again na fraudulent activities.
Activities.
Short and
So,
simple.
if this kind situation, we get into this kind of situation, with this kind of problem, the government not the able for calm, whether the president and the executive not the able for calm tell we exactly what's in the go on the country. It will go to the economic sector. There you see how we Leon they depreciate every day. They depreciate. Food. How people they starve out of food. If this president go to now a pulpit, and say and donate 2 billion to a church, which in salary, and able reach 2 billion in all the length of time we don't take an office. Then people in Sierra Leone, and not say 85 or 83% of the population they go hunger and they go without food. Economic hostage in the country, they waste the country money lavishly. You say you buy your way to heaven. Why did the president need for buying way to heaven? Which
Does
sense of
heaven
happiness?
exist, in fact? Are we sure it exists? Is it
So
not here with us?
it's very sad. It's very sad for now, and the only Apple gets now how for able get international partners then Sierra Leone and themselves make we open eye for these changes when they come 2023. If not, we come to doing this serious crisis. And then this I don't want for let people then talk say we are running away or we no want war. Nobody know they invite bad things for happen to one. But if you don't change your way, life not discipline.
It happen to you.
It happen
It
to you.
happen to you.
It happen to if you
If
not
you see
discipline
bad
yourself.
things they come, you not try for take steps for stop them. It happen to you.
So
Nothing can stop it.
no amount of prayer, not the way you go tell me say you dey pray. We go say, oh, this thing not will happen because men are Christian, men are Muslim, but you are doing it, then you still want for preventer. How you want for preventer? Life not the work that way. Life is a reality. We have to face it. We going to accept say this government is a disappointment to Sierra Leoneans. Let's forget about the political witch hunt and the political. Even the Sierra Leoneans, where they are not politicians, they suffer in the hands of this government. We see the brutal way how they treat people then. How a government can go now Waterloo, beat people and say because people in the sell and street. You create a market space for them. You go long, beat people
Yeah.
and tell somebody, did you create a market space? When I go at this market and not go there.
That's the question. That's the question.
You see, so the thing is here is nobody is talking to us. Things that they happen in purity, then nobody know to talk to me. So why do we elect these people in governance? And as I
Well,
start
it's
for
up
tell you
to the
say,
Sierra Leoneans.
as I start for tell you say, until the government, this government begins see the opposition, we see inside an Escoma government, and Escoma been bad. Of course, they get you things that we do not correct. But leadership, nobody know to be 100% correct. We see President Kroma during the Ebola thing, I involved in the matter began 250 million for even go take turn at the country. We see the kind of support, even allegations I mean they go say that President Kroma buy for our host. Those things will happen. So they were involved. John Benjamin said, then one of them involved, and Ukele, these are opposition. They all work on this command government. May you see the national inclusion moving it. So what's going to happen now? So what's going to happen to this particular regime? If you are not pauper, not even inside the SLPP, if you are not pauper, you know they get a job. May you see a president say, they give us Sabi you before you give job. You give us Sabi every Sierra Leone for like get a job out of 7 million population. You want to say you Sabi everybody? I expect the president will talk to every competent Sierra Leonean. So anybody who not Sabi, they not care if the person they leave or not. They not care if the person they whose kind of situation you go through. So it's sad. The answer to your question here is Sierra Leone is heading towards that of will be very dangerous for the citizens of Sierra Leone. So now, let we find a way how to stop this danger where they are at. Let we find a way how to stop her.
Well,
Stop
if
us.
I can come in at this point, in the first place, I think the people of Sierra Leone collectively therefore raise questions about the integrity and sincerity of the elections authorities in Sierra Leone. We therefore take her up with the international community. And the international community for coming for giving assistance, for make we ensure say fraudulent means are not used to rig the coming election. Because that may be the starting point of the disaster we they try to avoid if they rig the elections. They always say prevention is better than cure. It's better we examine the issues then now, we try for find solutions now than we sit down wait and say, hey God. 60 years plus, we don't wait, they say, hey God, nothing not they improve. Some of we don't bend the curve, but we still they look forward, say, something they will can do. If not 10, 15 years time, we'll go see a better Sierra Leone. But before we can able to do that, we need for get sanity na the political spectrum. We need them. That's why some of us are going out to say it as it is. If you ask me, I not trust the Elections Commission, I not trust PPRC, because their activities, their statements, and everything they show a bias towards the one they will appoint them. And then bodies then they for be neutral. We don't see 2007 elections, the Tijan Kaba government may appoint Christiana Top for be electoral commissioner. She conducted the elections. The APC won. She came to the 2012 elections. They may raise a lot of questions. She went out. APC not keep on there. Then bring other person inside. Because people then be raise questions about Christiana Top. One, two, we don't do a term of office where I believe say instead be look and say a not necessary like continue. But since this government come, first of all, then come with a motive, then can change every structure and personnel at the public service. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? When Anescoma took over, he never sacked everybody in the public service. Una begin sack people them. And one thing where I can find difficult for understand, especially so when it's coming from people who claim they are educated. Now when people then they say APC be don't do it, so we say we go do them. If you meet your papa na drunk man, that means he say for be drunkard. I want these guys to answer this question. Do we have to continue along this path of say then we don't do so we say for do them? Does that show integrity? Does it show sincerity? The other thing is, even with the international community's advice, say, una no go ahead with a census. These guys decided to go ahead with a census. Now, then this year we see a statement come out from COP where they indicate, say, there are plans to create new electoral boundaries in Sierra Leone, new constituencies. Honestly, do we need new constituencies in Sierra Leone? If you look at the demographic distribution in Sierra Leone,
In the first place here is, do we have time for boundary limitation? We get less than this now, less than almost like say 6 months. The rest of my election, if so, when the government get for sit down for allocate the constituency system,
do they
any
have the resources to do that?
I been don't tell when I say one time say the agenda of President Bio now for come with the proportional representation in terms of or before and all on this constituency representation because like they find am very difficult in popularity. So you go able
The
for the
man no
board
say
figure.
he no able to win election if then go face to face na the ballot box. That's the long and short of it.
So with all
He
them
has
things,
underperformed.
they just want for create a way how chaos going in the country. And the country there instability. That's all they want for create.
Well, if not that's my intention, I want let President Bio no say the world now we all get them. Not anyone get them. If he create chaos in Sierra Leone, he will have no hiding place on earth. Wherever he is, we will find him.
With
Wherever he is, we will find him.
the example then they Mr. Gamboa. The example then they you see a war between Russia and Ukraine, maybe you don't say I don't create problem at the whole world. So if President Biyofi says
Yeah.
Sierra Leone is an island, then he's making a
Let him
serious
go
mistake.
ahead and create chaos.
But
Then he's creating insecurity for himself and his family.
yeah.
Now we don't see then they go after the family of President Putin. They don't begin sanction them. The world today and the world today not the same. So if he plan for create chaos, like go ahead. It's his option. Not a way they force him.
So into in leadership and how a president would be, you only care about yourself. You don't care about the constituency. The constituency is the constituency that we elect you. If that man care about the constituency that we elect him, I believe say by now, certain issues then they will don't go president before further address the issues in there. But this is one thing here. I listened to one audio where somebody video where somebody make recently say Thomas, where he say BO in leadership not until they don't begin fail. If somebody can come up from second lieutenant to brigadier, That's a serious concern. Nobody know if for cross-check them fact and they say, how did this man overnight become a brigadier from even
Well, you
full
don't
lieutenant?
verify what you have been tell you say the intellectual class na Sierra Leone are they responsible for everything they go wrong. Because there are people in society who should question that, but nobody cared to. Because everybody will in pot boil. And today the pot they're not the boil. Oh. They're not the boil.
So a very, 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 very serious. A very serious. And this issue, yeah, people in the see them they downplay them. And so we would downplay the issues that way happen during the war. We can property and destroy from that tendency. I don't do it. And when they see the footprint of the thing that way they happen during the war, they are still happening. The judiciary now one thing we very, very, very
The
corrupt.
worst they happen now. The worst
The
they happen
judiciary
now.
extremely corrupt. The police, the instrument that were responsible for that, they run the country. Then corrupt the parliament. So I'm scared. I'm scared for the people of Sierra Leone, not for the politicians, because you were the creative problem and your responsibility for what you're facing now.
Yeah, you get for bear the consequence where the term reach.
Yes. The
And
people that
for
were
the
the
people
scared.
them, the poor people them.
Yep. I'm afraid and I'm so scared for the poor people then. We recycle and the people that their livelihood not believe it, they're not there on politics now for go fed and day to day bread. These are the people I they feel them for. How them fit get for the if that country there's somebody else with ill means for put the country into chaos. How them would they? In which kind of atmosphere them people then they would they? A very sad. So I think say as a cop, you mention a word about Harper. That a one of the first and foremost, putting the legality say political parties are not for come together. Who's law in Sierra Leone say political parties are not for come together and organize themselves in another name.
APA is not a legal body, it's just a loose association of political parties. If
So
the government can recognize APA, why are they going against COP?
cop. So if you talk say, oh, you don't recognize this body, you don't recognize, but this one, what you know say is not a legal entity, which is body, the all leadership of the political parties they don't come
Because
together. They
then
say
they
don't come.
pre-sing them.
Yes.
Because then they pre-sing them, so they recognize them.
And most of them political parties and the way he said and they appear, their leadership not they. You see some the chairman not they now just maybe the PR where they go take. They say they represent appear. How can somebody represent a whole political party
Well,
when the leadership of the party not they? So it's so sad for with
we
democracy.
have a government that is living in the 16th century.
And if you get a president where they claim that he's the father of democracy, then he destroyed the democracy. I don't know how did he become the father of democracy. I don't
Who's
know.
I be father of democracy?
That's that is the claim.
Who's I be father of democracy? Because I was in Sierra Leone up to 1998. As a trade unionist, I was involved in a lot of the processes that led us to multi-party situation. I was a sitting member at some point in time representing the Sierra Leone Teachers Union in the Dr. Peter Lorenzo Tucker Commission of Inquiry. We come with the constitution what they use so now, signed and acceded to by President Joseph Saidu Momo. Where did this man come with democracy from? Because he betrayed Valentine Strasser for the National Advisory Council to win elections. That 96 elections would have been won by Dr. John Keffer Smart if they not be overthrew Strasser. That's the long and short of it all. Then guys say, let them left for the lie now. Let the lie do so now, Salon. If you cannot run a country, get out. There are other people who can do it. When I know say I not get the wish for run a country, I not go into politics. I sit down in my corner. Because if I wanted to go into politics, I would have gone to Sierra Leone. I would have found a source to fund what I am going to do. I'll go talk on a stage, I get support, I win elections if it's possible. And then left for the life, we might be able to bring democracy in a salon. Before the overthrow of the APC in 1992, 12 political parties had been registered. PDP, Sober, SLP. SLPP was the first party to be registered when they got the new constitution. What they use so. They were registered in September and November, of 1991. The constitution was acceded to and given the presidential seal in October. November, SLPP be don't register as a party. Mamadou Koroma was the secretary then. They had their office down at Walpole Street. That building, Usai Boys Brigade been there, opposite that church by Wallace Johnson Street. That was where the SLPP office was. Then you had 11 other parties registered before Momo was overthrown. Usai Bio come out with democracy. Let me not talk that word again, Bo. Let me not talk again.
The point is, when President Bio been in opposition, certain things and the way she always condemn. Say then thing and then not for happen, they destabilize and disturb with democracy. When in Canada, instrument and it like he said, these are what I'm going to do when I take leadership. When in Canada, then thing and they
can do. The worst of what he condemn, now he can do.
Forcing way to the leadership. Every side way they therefore be with bulldozing way to then things and they. So you say you fix a broken economy where you meet. But the economy don't more over tata. I see somebody even make a joke.
They made $3 billion debt. Now we are talking about $7 billion.
They say make them talk to make them check cabinet color and degree. He say not a fake economy because the way the economy they go down.
me head the heart, bro.
For checking, yeah.
Salomon give extra pass, he laugh.
So a lot of fake degree get. Imagine, I listen to if the president himself can claim a degree where not get. The interview on a BBC say, "Are you a doctor?" They say people they call me doctor, so I choose to accept as being a doctor. Which kind of country that's in? So if people
being a doctor is an ego trip in Sierra Leone.
So the problem with this doctorate degree, so if people are not be doctor, they're not get PhD, they're not able to deliver. This is what confused me. Why
I don't know. I don't even know why people are so obsessed with doctorate. Honestly, the country where they talk, so if I want to apply at the University of Bergen, then go accept me. Because I was verified when I came here in 2003. But instead of going for a doctorate, I went for something else. I went for information technology. Because I want to forget something what I go do for me safety or die. Now this doctor, now I make thief not a done na salon. Doctor, I never produce nothing.
If the government of Sierra Leone can take teachers, then popo teachers, and put them in a country, shame them. Why you not go take
the government of Sovula na country?
Yes.
Sovula, parentarily, then for bring them a country.
Yes, and get that PhD at their neck.
Yes. And number two, Sovula don't pass the age for function as a public servant. Sovula big pass me. Today make me 67 years. Sovula is well into his 70s now. It's time he retires. Julius Madabio, retire him.
So it's sad. So the appeal way we appeal to people then. This is not about political party. This is not about APC, SLPP, C4C, or any party. This is about we as a country. If we left sit down the way we country to go, we not put measures in place. My other view in presidency is a sequence of arrival. Presidents comes and go. Sierra Leone is going to remain. Sierra Leone for David. With then kind of bad president and then bad leadership, then thing in the way they show. There is a possibility, say, any other leader can worst past Madabe. Say Madabe will do.
We're not go agree. We're not go agree. We're not go.
So what are we going to do? Then and now we for put a measures, and now we put a stop, and now we put a stop.
Now I make now some of who don't begin talk come how it is. We not agree From now on, let all them thing they done na salon. They done. Sierra Leone get a potential. Go for try exploit and make them into a great nation.
So it's sad and a very disastrous for democracy, and we have to find a way. The country cannot be country no go dey this way like Salone go so. If we continue to go this direction, then at the end of the day, it will be bad not only for we but for the sub-region self. Because when you get a security threat in Sierra Leone, you put the other countries them enable you as a security threat.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what you do. Probably sometimes other you don't know the implication. If you say, but I know the blame him, as they say, the man just stopped from second lieutenant to claim saying a brigadier. Because if you go through the hierarchy, you will know the kind of security implication where they create in that country. They will exactly know where they create. And they endanger where they endanger the Mano River Union. What they endanger? It's so the way forward, Mr. Jallo, now for the with the self now, not the way forward. What you go for do for block this man from this kind discerning things that will happen to people there.
The first step where I think say we for take, I for create the awareness in the people them, let them know things they go wrong. So that then self, because the people themselves then get their own understanding of issues. Let we not underrate them. Let for the things say we can lead with people anyhow we like. Then don't they reach the point where they don't push them to the wall too much. Let we create the awareness in them, say, do ya, let them go register for go vote. Let them go en masse and register. Then, come 2023, let them put aside sentiment, let them vote for who that them believe say, go can help for make them begin see change happen. Yes, we know. 60 years down the line, then don't they do the same experiment, then not they see different results. We understand that. But we want let the people know say, this time around, some of us are going to be moral guarantors of Sierra Leone. That's why some of us are not going into politics. I not care who that kind of power. If you not doing right, I they tell you say you're not right. I not get for go beg to you. I not want your money. I not want your office. If you're not right, you're not right. If you're right, you get me support. Number two, I think say we'll get for raise the bar of advocacy for make Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora get involved more and more on the issues where they go on. The need for see the danger where they come ahead. Because if anything go wrong in that country, we were then at the diaspora, now we they totally trouble. Middle net, then they call you. This do happen, no, that do happen, no. So if we want to get peace, if we want for live in less stress, we get for take more part in the activities of Sierra Leone for ensure say impunity stop. Because what you get in a salon, not to government, now impunity. Everybody they do I elect. Where you talk through, then ready for beat you. They even get them talk the oversee. Then there's here John Lahai, because he exposed fake degree, he get for run for in life. Now the man they talk say even the afraid, let them not know side in America, let them not go for him. Me like me, I'm not getting at you are afraid, I didn't know way. I didn't know way, and who that want me address, I go give you. But where they come, can like man. Because sometimes if you say they can't kill me, we all they die that day. I swear to God. I am prepared for that. I not dey serve nobody, I dey serve my conscience, God, and my nation, Sierra Leone. Enough of this impunity. It's time we stop it. Two, the intellectual class for become united. For become united. We get a high level of role for perform for make we country go before. countries that we don't go before, the first thing where they make them go before, now the intellectual class, they come together, they put standards of ethics and morals, they establish and make sure say institutions they run out and for run. In Sierra Leone, the intellectuals now then they broke the institutions. All man they look for own. We need for change that now. We need for change that now. If we come together, there will be a cumulative process of transformation in Sierra Leone where within 15 to 20 years, we will get more billionaires in that country than any other country in the world. We will be bigger than Dubai or them places than the old people then they run for go. We only need for come together. We need for come together. The last thing I go say, this consortium of progressive political parties, now the hope for Sierra Leone, and they appeal to Sierra Leoneans, let go beyond that group. Let we work with them. We now the diaspora, let find ways and means for contributor like na $5 we they give every month. If 500,000 people give $5 every month, that's a lot of money. Let we cooperate, let we make Sierra Leone. If we do that, now for we all benefit. If we not do them, a few go benefit. The masses will lose. Some of us have nothing to lose. Zababa, you not get nothing for lose. You can sit down America for the rest of your life.
Well, I get something for lose because, like, when you know, so we get a culture of family oriented. If you
Yeah,
family
your
suffer,
family go suffer back home, but if you get a good and stable environment, so you can able make money, you go able to take care of them quietly. You go able to take care of them quietly. But we need for make we know say, united we stand, divided we fall. Let us come together and ensure say Sierra Leone change from now on. Some of we know they talk this because we want politics. You'll never see me stand in a platform to campaign for office. I will never. If I go salon house, I go sit on a village, I do what I get for do they quietly. I get what they do, well, I don't need nobody in job. And not to criminal business. So let we try. I think we don't do about an hour.
Yep. Then
I go one let you give your last word, sir.
when
I
my
see
last
today
word,
you not look too bright because of you waiting yesterday. I only hope
yeah,
you will get time for recover.
yeah. My last message to Sierra Leone, they send this message to the president of Sierra Leone, President Julius Maada and the government. I want for make you understand say you are a Sierra Leone like we. You therefore leave office. Power na limited time you get. Power is not forever. When you left leadership, you have to come back to that na the society, the community where you live, and live with them people there as the same person we be. I believe saying that now you're supposed to work towards your retirement for make you get a
Exactly.
good skill and stability with your community and the people of Sierra Leone, when we are all one people. So the ask say certain nothing is innovated. There is a lot of things we will able address, we will able for fix that country dey in this 1 year self for the left. Make sure say one, the election free and fair and transparent. Two, let take hand on all government institutions, then let the institution then function on their own. Now make the institutions then get a code mandate to then they operate on. Let them function. The military, the police, the PPRC, the courts, everywhere. Now make it people and they get head of them institutions today. Then primary responsibility now for function between the confine of the law of Sierra Leone. But in dictatorial tendency to their institutions and they don't make the institutions and don't weak. They're not only weak, It didn't verge for collapse.
They're
So
on the
every
verge
Sierra
of
Leonean,
collapsing. Sierra Leone is on the verge of collapsing. Honestly.
Sierra Leoneans need for things say we not get any other Sierra Leone, one green Sierra Leone get. So it's coming 2023. We not the vote because we hate SLPP. We not the vote because we hate Madabi. We the vote because the responsibility will be there and I will carry the responsibility. So we need changes. So I left every Sierra Leone with this and I make sure say they asked plea to the Anti-Corruption Commission. In statement they were making at BBC, they were very wrong, unfortunate. Then an embarrassment to Sierra Leone for making talk say a fake PhD people they were not going to say they not continue not to investigate it because not to corrupt act. So that is very deceitful word from NSSF. I believe say it will rethink and retract that statement there. And the government of Sierra Leone, they at the plea to and say then people they always get fake degree from that fake university, then from clinch them from their jobs as they do to the poor teachers then where they put some cotton tree. So good night, my family. Then me now Pekin. Baba.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's unfortunate you not look bright today.
Yeah.
I understand. But we have to come back again and we
Yeah.
will continue for same as it is.
Well, I got the
Now with
power.
moral and ethical responsibility for say it as it is for make Sierra Leone change.
Yeah.
Would I not like what you they talk? We are very sorry. But maybe if you sit down in a quiet moment and think twice, you go understand say what you would talk now even for your own benefit. Because if peace and stability there, nobody cares about who is up there or who is down there. Where they know is so away there America, so no one know than a minister. We no one know than a president. Because we get what you they do. We're able to live with life. Now this will they look out for Sierra Leone. Now this will they talk for Sierra Leone. Let there be a situation where everything is done in a balanced fashion. We allow systems for work. We allow institutions for work. We get shared respect. You know, means that we be minister, then for respect you by force. No. If you know they do it right, you know they do it right. We then for tell you. And we then tell you in your quiet moment, think, say yes, what in and tell me not to. Change. You are part of us. You are part of us. If you do anything wrong, it affects we all. Me with this too. If I do anything wrong, it affects everybody. Tababa, if you do anything wrong, it affects everybody. We get for learn that in Sierra Leone and we get for begin change with ways. Framble them. Una thank you very much. We go come back sometime next week. We will
Yeah.
continue for Musa we stop.
That's all.
Thank you, sir.